everyone, I'm Heather. I'm back for a really quick video. Super quick this time because I'm racing bath time. As soon as my kid gets out of the bath, it's just gonna be carnage. There's no way I'm gonna finish this video, so quick. Right, so today I'm doing the Vlogmas Tag. I was tagged in this by Sean the Book Maniac, and also I think it was like a paired tag with Britta Bowler, whose channel is also really awesome. So I'll link them both down below, and then also sort of the original tags that they did for it. Theirs are better than mine, I will just say no. But I'm gonna give it a really good go because it's a really interesting tag and I really liked it and it was fun and cute. I'm not doing Vlogmas this year because life is hard. Also, I did like a whole vlogging thing for Believe-a-thon last month, and when I got to the end of that, I was like hungover and life was hard, and I was like, I'm gonna give myself a rest. Anyway, next year, guys. First one is V, Vlogmas. V is for Voyage, a book that involves travel. I think for this one, I've decided that one of my favourite books this year involving travel has been West by Cara Davis. So Cara Davis is Welsh. This book is not about Wales, it's about America, as you do. And this won some sort of like Wales Book Prize or something, like Wales Book of the Year, Welsh Book of the Year, something like that. I'll put it somewhere on the screen after I stop losing my mind. But basically, this one is a novella. It's quite and short, easy to read over Christmas, say, if you were going to do that. So this guy, he lived in the West in America in the 19th century. His wife is dead, and he's got this kid who's sort of like pre-teeny age. I can't remember how old she is exactly, like maybe like 10 or so. And he sees in a newspaper that they found dinosaur bones in the West. They've like dug them up. This is sort of at the beginning of people studying dinosaur bones, and they don't really understand it fully yet, and they just think it's just like these massive monsters. They found the bones of these massive creatures, and so basically they must still be around, you know. So much of the West at this time is sort of unstudied and unexplored by white people. They don't really know what's out there. They don't have any sort of proper real maps that identify where everything is. So few white people have been out there that nobody really knows what's there. Like, there could just be massive ass creatures wandering around and people wouldn't even know. So he's like, this dad, he's like, there's gotta be creatures out there. They've gotta be alive. They've gotta be wandering around. I need to see them. He's obsessed with like these dinosaurs basically and finding them. So he gears himself all up. He gets like a native, like an Indian guide. He sort of gets all the gear and everything, and he leaves his daughter in the care of his crotchety, horrible spinster sister. And he's like, baby girl, like, I'm gonna come back for you. Don't worry about it. Just gotta go and see these animals. And she just has basically a horrible time because all of her friends are like, your dad is crazy. He's like gone looking for monsters. And she just has to like stick up for him because she loves him and she believes him and everything. So I'm not gonna tell you what happens. You have to see it for yourself, but it's gorgeous writing, gorgeous story. I love novellas because it fits so much like event and feeling and emotion and character and description into like a tiny bit. It just gets rid of all the stuff you don't need, you know, like the fluff and everything that makes stuff boring sometimes. So this was awesome. A book about travel, that's one of my favorite ones for this year. Right. Okay. L is for LGBTQ. Recommend a favorite book or author. So for this one, I don't have the actual book because I read it in Malta. And whenever I take a book on holiday, I just sort of always leave it on holiday. I have sort of a habit of like being like, well, all of these 6 books or whatever that I brought with me to read on holiday, I've finished them and I don't want to take them home. So I just basically leave them in the hotel or like leave them in cafes or whatever. Wherever I finish it, it just stays there for the next person who wants to get it. But this one was Holding by Graham Norton, and it was so good. I didn't really know that Graham Norton, the talk show host, like if you don't live in the UK, maybe you don't know, he's a talk show host. He's hilarious. He's from Ireland. So these books, like he wrote this one and then also another one, I think it's like The Keeper or something, and I think I have A Keeper. So I've got the next one. This is the guy. Yeah. So this is not the one, it's the other one. Holding is the other one. But basically, in Ireland, they sort of like a bunch of characters are sort of living in this tiny town, and there's like a police detective. He doesn't really originally want to be like a police guy. He's just sort of like a small town chief or whatever, and he sort of just ended up in that role. And then you've got, what happens is they like they're building something, like construction work is going on, and they find a body, they dig it up, and then they're like, well, who is this? And it's really hard for them to identify the body, and they think that they maybe know who it is, and they sort of tie it to somebody that's in the town, and it digs up like all of this history, like all of these characters that have been living in the town sort of their whole lives, you know, and it just sort of like, the police guy, he has to have somebody brought in from like the bigger town next to them, like they're a tiny village, so in order to sort of like investigate this properly, they have to bring in like a police guy from a bigger town. So he comes in and he's like, oh my god, like what is going on with this tiny town? He like has no respect for any of the police stuff going on in this town, you know, he just thinks it's a big waste of his time. But all of the characters are really good, and it stirs up all this like amazing sort of history and everything, and it just like unfolds like quite quickly and sort of like quite addictively, the pattern as it like unfolds. So I'll leave you with that. I don't want to like ruin anything, and I feel like any info I give you basically will ruin it, because each thing is connected to another thing and it sort of rolls on like that. It was so good. I loved the ending, I loved the characters, I loved the mystery about it. I think you should definitely read it. Another one I don't have because also I got rid of it, but I thought of this sort of a bit later on. The Paying Guests by Sarah Waters. That one was also super good. It's about like sort of post World War I, and this woman and her mother are living in this massive house on their own. The brother and the father are dead. I think something to do with the war, like they were killed in the war or something like that. And they have to take on boarders into their house so that they can just basically pay for the house that they live in, you know, so that they can make money. The people that they take in are sort of this like rich, sort of posh, young, new couple, like they've just gotten married and they come in. And a relationship then develops between the daughter that originally lived there and the wife in the couple. It's like they have to hide it from everyone, it's not allowed, you know, it like plays out, it like develops quite slowly, and the characters are really lovely, and it's like a nice sort of tragic type love story that I really liked. Anyway, just throw that one in there as a second one that I really liked. O is for Oldie But Goldie, a book you read a long time ago that holds a special place in your heart. Okay, I'm gonna spark a bit of controversy here. I apologize, but I feel like I need to be true to myself, you know? Gonna be really awesome with you guys, even if it starts a bit of a battle, okay? The one that I'm gonna say for this. Are you ready? Waiting to be Heard by Amanda Knox. Okay, so if you don't know the story, let me give you some rundown. Amanda Knox was a university student in the noughties, like roughly 2006-ish. I can't really remember the timeline, but I will tell you how it is that I roughly know what time it is. But she went away to do a study abroad from her normal university in America. She did a study abroad in a small town in Italy. And there she had a bunch of roommates from a bunch of different countries. And then one of them ended up brutally murdered in their apartment. Some stuff went down. They were trying to figure out who it is. She was a bit weird, had a bit of things to say that maybe didn't flush with a bunch of other things, and immediately became the first suspect. Okay, it all went down. She was in jail for ages. She was tried for the murder with this other guy. And then they found out another guy, like this Italian guy who was like originally from Africa or whatever. They found out that he was also involved, and they fast-tracked that guy. They were definitely guilty. But the other two, Amanda Knox and the boyfriend, I think, I can't remember his name. I'll put it on here somewhere. They just went through this like really ridiculously lengthy process of like being charged and then uncharged and then charged. Like they were like, you're guilty, you get 26 years, and it was big drama, blah blah. But then on appeal, they were like, actually, you're not guilty, you can go. So then Amanda went back to America. She was like, fuck you guys. Then through another appeal, they were found guilty again, and unfortunately, the Italian boyfriend, who could not fuck off, had to go through it again, where she was snug in America, going, okay, but if you find me guilty, I'm not coming back. Anyway, so the reason that this one holds a special place in my heart is that I actually know Amanda Knox from ages ago. We were in the same university together and we did this drama class called Early Fall Start Drama, or like a monologue writing or something, where as a freshman you go and you take like one university class that counts for credit and everything, but you take it before the actual semester fully starts. So you like get a feel for university and you get a feel for campus and everything before like being sort of thrown in it all at once. So there were only about 5 people in this class, and me and Amanda Knox were 2 of the people. So I got to know her pretty well. Like, she was really funny, she was like quite quirky, said weird stuff sometimes, so I liked it. I remember she did this monologue about like baseball or something, where she was playing a baseball character and she's like, baseball is like life, man. Everyone laughed because it was hilarious. Anyway, so cut to like a year later or whatever, and I get this weird call from like a British tabloid. I'm in Seattle, I've never really been to the UK that much. And this British tabloid is like, I'd like to talk to you about your Facebook friend Amanda Knox. As you know, that she's been arrested for the suspicion of murder, blah blah. And I was like, what? So I told my roommate Alicia, and she was like, we need to go on her Facebook promptly and sort of see what's going on, and we need to Google this. Anyway, that's how I found out that she was like the main suspect for this murder. Anyway, I tried to get this book when it came out, so she was released from prison, she went home, she got a book deal, as you do. She wrote this book. I think she's a journalist now, actually. She does like a podcast or something about like the Innocence Project or something, like talking to people who were convicted, but they sort of maintained their innocence, or they were unconvicted or something. And also I think she worked for the Seattle Times for a bit. So, you know, it's pretty good writing, it's okay. And whether you sort of believe her or not, whether you believe that she did it or you don't believe it, like, that's the thing, that's why it's controversial. In the UK, people tend to think that she did it because the girl that was murdered was British. Her name was Meredith Kercher, I think. People are like, she's guilty! Whereas in America, especially in Seattle, I think generally people are like, what do you want about her? She's obviously not guilty. How could she have been guilty? That, like, Italian/African guy was obviously, like, fast-tracked into jail because he's the one who was guilty, blah, blah. Anyway, so I wanted to read this book, but it wasn't being sold in the UK. I don't even know if it's still sold in the UK because people were like, are people actually going to buy this book? Because it's basically Amanda Knox saying I didn't do it, and nobody is here for that in Britain. So I had to have my mom buy it and bring it to me from America. So now, every time I sort of go through my shelves, I'm like, I need to Marie Kondo some stuff, I need to get rid of some books. I'm like, I've already read this one, it was lovely, I need to get rid of it. But I cannot bring myself to get rid of it because I feel like it is weirdly tied to me in a strange way. And also, if I give it to the charity shop, are they even going to try to sell it to people, or are they just going to put it in the effing wood chipper? And then it was a waste of all of that time and effort for my mom to come in here and get it to me. Anyway, that was a really long explanation, I'm sorry. But this is my oldie but a goldie. Read it ages ago. Special place in my heart. Has to stay on my shelf now. Okay, so number 4, G, is for gift. Share some anecdotes about good and bad experiences with giving and or receiving books. Okay, so I kind of have 2 that I want to say. So the first one is this guy. Ugh. This is Michael Palin, Around the World in 80 Days. And I knew that, like, you know, Michael Palin was sort of funny and sort of a comedian, but I didn't really know that he did a travel show because it's, like, big in the UK, but not really in America. So when I moved here, that's when I found out that he did, like, a lot of this stuff. Anyway, this was, like, a show, Around the World in 80 Days, and then he sort of wrote it up afterwards. He's quite a good writer. And he did sort of all this stuff afterwards, sort of say where he went and what he did and, like, the people he met. And it's quite funny. It's really good. I love a good travel book, you know. But what's awesome about it is that it was given to me by my friend Karis and her boyfriend Matthew when I became a British citizen. So, I had like a party or whatever, that was sort of my 30th birthday / my celebration for becoming a dual US-UK citizen and being able to vote and having a passport and blah 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 and everything like that. And they brought me a massive Union Jack coffee mug. And also this book. And I really liked the book. And I think I'll probably never get rid of it. I don't know. I quite like that. I don't know. It's just a very British thing. And they obviously gave it to me for that reason. Sort of thinking, you know, welcome to Britain. Every Briton has a Michael Palin book. You need to have one also. Anyway. Another one that I thought of that I actually don't have with me because I did what I normally do about going on holiday. Like, I didn't get rid of it, obviously, because it was a gift for him, I liked it. But it went home to Seattle, to my parents' house, and I read it on the plane there. It was like an 8-hour flight, and it's quite a big book. So I read it on the way there, and I finished it, and then I was like, Dad, do you want to read this? And he was like, yeah, okay. And I was like, I'm going to leave it with you. Is that okay? Anyway, it's a really good book. It was given to me by my friend Rahaf, who's from Syria. And so when I don't work with her anymore, which is a shame. But when I did work with her, like, we used to talk all the time about all these different books, you know, books that we liked as a kid, books that we like now, books that we want to read. And obviously, like, she didn't know a hell of a lot about, like, the books that most Britons and Americans read as kids or in high school. Like, there's all these, like, classics that everyone reads. So I was, like, telling her about those ones. And then she was telling me about ones that they know about in Syria, like sort of Middle Eastern / sort of, like, Muslim world books. And she gave me loads of tips about them. And I have pursued those down to the effing ground. They were amazing tips. And I'm, like, really sad that we don't have those chats really that much anymore because that was gold. Anyway, one of the books that she gave me was People of the Alley. This sort of massive allegory about, like, the different religions and how they're sort of received in the Muslim world. And sort of, you had these different, like, families or, like, groups of people, like, clans of people, and they were based on sort of, like, the Christians and the Muslims and the Jews. And also there was this section about, like, how science and technology and new ideas and sort of knowledge are received in the Middle East as well. Like, the characters were really good. And, like, as a story, it was super good. But as an allegory, it just introduced me to a whole new world of things I don't spend a lot of time thinking about. And that was a fab book. And that was, like, a fab time as well. You know, I love when books make me Google things and sort of find out new things I would never have thought to look up myself. I Googled an absolute shit ton, and it was an amazing time. Anyway, M is for mass market paperback. Do you like them? Why or why not? Show us a couple. Talk about a couple you read. So, Sean, from Sean's Book Maniac, does not like them. He definitely put on his thing. He was like, no, they're trash. I agree that they're trash. However, I am poor. I love to read, and the library stresses me out. So, I have read actually a load of them. I think the latest one that I went through, Tony Hillerman, Coyote Waits, is definitely a mass market guy. Yeah, Sean was on about how the spines are always breaking. Yeah, I understand, friend. They are pieces of shit. But really, it's the only way that I can afford to read as many books as I do without having to go the stress of going to the library and being like, can I please put my name down for this list? And then they don't give me books and books for ages, and then all of a sudden there's like 6 of them that I have to read in 10 days. Anyway, this was amazing. I bought it in a gas station. You know, I got loads of them. That's another one. Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. Spines are broken to hell. Can you see it? Yeah, they're pieces of crap. They fall apart. And they look crappy, but I don't know. I've like just come to terms with that. I've embraced the fact that I'm poor and need to very much read a lot of books. So I just embraced it. This is like the working class me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like working class book for a working class girl. I kind of pour the fancy ones. Probably always be like that. Like, if anyone wants to try me and give me $1 million and see if I still get the mass market paperbacks, you know, like, I'm up for the experiment, to be honest with you. A, almost there, number 6. A is for all in the family. Whether you come from a family of readers or you do not, tell us about it. So my dad is a reader. He's a big reader. My whole life, he and I have always sort of had that in common, that we like to read books. He's got a gazillion books in his house. Now he's got a gazillion of my books in his house, but we won't talk about that because I don't like to address it. And like loads of times, a lot of our like bonding experiences would just be him and I driving quietly to the bookstore, getting out, getting a coffee, and then disappearing into the bookstore, and then meeting back up like 4 hours later, having not seen each other once. being like, these are all of the books I'm buying. What books are you buying? Let's go to the till. And then driving home. Or like waking up, being like, how about we go to Starbucks and get coffee and donuts and just spend that whole time not talking to each other but reading our books. Yeah, so anyway, however, I think it would be a way better experience for us in this bonding situation if he and I read the same kinds of books. He has been in the army for a very long time, like he's retired now, now he works for the government. However, he was in the army, special forces, for a very long time. So a lot of the books that he reads, like, also he's got several gazillion degrees in various things, through like, you know, the GI Bill or whatever was gonna like give him college for free. So he's like, I'm going to ride that all the way to the end. He's got about 8 million different degrees. Some of them are political ones. He's working in law school now, blah, blah. So a lot of the books that he reads are to do with someone who's been in the military a very long time or someone who has a million political degrees. I often just read smutty romance or popular nonfiction, celebrity memoirs. I like to read a good political book, but I only read popular political books. I read the political books that everyone is reading, and that is the difference. Sometimes my dad will be like, I love this book, you should read it, and I'll read it, and I'll be like, holy crap, that was amazing. But most of the time, my dad says this book was amazing, you should read it, and I read the back, and I go, my mother doesn't really read, I think. Well, actually she does, that's a lie. But she's more of a practical person. She's not so much of like a novel reader or like, I don't know, like a philosophical reader or political reader. She likes to read things like, you know, business psychology and stuff like that to help her like manipulate her minions at work. She likes to read things that are like, you know, diet cookbooks, you know, or like books about nutrition. She's really into running now, so she likes to read books about like running form and stuff. Like, she's a very practical reader. But yeah. Anyway, right. S. S is for Santa. Books on your Christmas wish list. Girl, I have a shit ton of books on my wish list. Sometimes I just send people lists of like hundreds of books, and I'm like, if you literally get me any of the books on this list, that will be awesome. However, my mother-in-law asked through my husband what books I want for Christmas, and I was like, just give her the list. And he was like, oh, that bullshit list of like 400 books, she can't go through that whole damn thing, you know, give her something that she can work with. And I was like, fine, so bossy. I've reduced my list down for general ease of digestion for family members, and the list has been sent out. It is Inland by Taya Obrecht. It's apparently like a Western. I really loved her other one, which was like Balkans related, like to do with the war, like the Bosnian War and everything, and sort of like legends and stuff from then. Like, I think she is actually originally from there, and that's why. It was so good, I loved it so much. So Inland, this one's about the American West, which I am for. Okay, next one is Made for Love by Alyssa Netting. This one I can't remember a whole hell of a lot about, and also I don't have it to read the back for you. I think it's something to do with, she lives in a trailer park with some people, and there's like a blow-up flamingo, or like a blow-up sex doll and some flamingos. I will find information about this for you later. Okay. The next one is She Said by Jodi Cantor and Megan Twohey. Twohey? I don't know how to say that. But She Said is basically this one by the journalists who really uncovered this story about Weinstein and like all of the like sexual assaults and sort of the pressures and all of this stuff. This like crazy story about him being a crazy rapist. And they sort of like pursued it, and they were getting like slammed doors after slammed door and like threats and stuff like that, and they just like finally nailed him and just like blew that door wide open. So definitely want to read that. The next one, The Good Neighbor by Maxwell King, is about Mr. Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. apparently he was the loveliest guy. You know, you see him on that lovely show and you think, oh, I bet he's lovely, but you never know because sometimes you get people on kids shows who are secretly rapists. But this guy was actually lovely, and like the story about him I've heard is just really lovely, so I really want to do that. I love a good celebrity memoir anyway, me. Next one, Fruit of the Drunken Tree by Ingrid Rojas Contreras. I'm gonna leave it with you guys. I literally don't remember anything about this book. I will try to find a synopsis or something and put it somewhere. But that's basically how I roll. Like, I read something a couple times, I decide that I definitely want to read it, put it on my list, and then depending on how long it's been on the list, I completely forget why it is there. I just read it, and then like everything's like a surprise. I'm like going through it, I'm like, oh my god, I had no idea this book was going to be about this. What an amazing surprise. Also, I see, unfortunately, actually, damn, I messed up. I see this now. I put Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid on the list. But then I got it from the library, and I'm currently reading it, and it's awesome. But I forgot that I put it on the list. I hope I hope no one got me this book. I don't know. If they did, no big deal. I don't know. Sorry. Anyway, Daisy Jones and the Six is lovely. It's such a good book. I'm so glad I got it from the library. Okay, so that's the end of the tag. I can hear my kid getting out of the bath. Right now, have to go. Thank you, Sean from Sean the Book Maniac, tagging me in this tag because it's amazing. I loved watching your one. I loved watching other ones as well. I saw Sarah from Hardcover Hearts. I watched hers. I'll link hers down below as well because it was super good as well. I watched a couple other ones as well. I might link them down. They've all been really, really good. I love this tag. Anyway, my next video I think is probably going to be, I don't know. I've run out of ideas for the year. Like I'm just like limping to the Christmas vacation so I can go home and then go to Hawaii. I think probably my next video will be completely not related to books at all. Like I have other hobbies, you know. I'm not one trick pony. Maybe I'll sort of jump on a couple other hobbies for the next one. God knows. Maybe I'll just sit on camera for like 30 minutes and drink wine. Thank you all for watching this video. If you have anything to say at all about it, about the books I mentioned, about books that are similar, about books that you would have picked for this tag, if you want to just link your tag to the bottom as well so that maybe I didn't see that one, I can watch that one because I love this tag. I love watching other people do it. That would be awesome. Okay, thank you so much. Bye!